Yo, how is it going? It's your boy Izlo33. Welcoming you back to live streams. We took a day off yesterday, and for good reason. I needed some copium. Having you gone out before quarters. Welcome everyone to the Anarchy analysis series. If you don't know what this is, then where have you been for the past God knows how many days? This series, we look at best of threes and everything in between. All the games from Worlds are being covered, hopefully. I have missed a few, which I'm not too fussed about. And we're going to miss quite a few from the Swiss stage here because I just don't have the time, especially considering Knockouts is coming out. Now, there's been a team that we haven't really touched on at all during this entire tournament, and I think it's only fitting we cover them here. That's right. It's T1 versus BLG, a matchup we saw, or I saw live in London at MSI. So I didn't actually get to do a breakdown of it, which is kind of the big reason why I want to do one right now as I move my chair arms into a better position because they're currently very low. There we go. Now I can rest and look at you correctly. So today we're going to be breaking down the two games. We'll actually be covering the two games fully. And I'm personally really looking forward to this series. So, without further ado, as you can just see, I've probably prepped my screen for it. Let's get into draft for today's Swiss stage game 1 of T1 BLG. The draft kicks off. Maokai, Nico, Zaya, Rumble. The big power picks that we've seen all throughout the tournament are going to be removed off the board. It leaves things like Kaiser, Azir, Orianna, that champion I tend to forget. Jax also has seen a lot of power from Eastern teams comparative to the West. But it's also been known for his Jax, very powerful champion overall, as Renata removed out the pool. That's the other big controlling area champion gone. Now, we haven't talked at all about T1 and how they've performed here at the tournament. And it's been a lot of preface on Carrier and Gumayushi in terms of what they've played. It's a lot more explosive, interesting to say the least as well. And with Jarvan probably being, I'd say that's the most prioritative pick left open other than Ori, which we've already seen. It's going to be locked in versus Orianna for BLG, and you can probably pair Kaiser with it quite nicely. But prefacing Bin's pool over Elk, kind of a common trend for BLG. I think they're more known for blind picking Bin into a strong carry matchup regardless. So he gets comfort. He gets a pick that can't be necessarily punished as hard. I think you go nah. What else is there? Quinn's an old-fashioned counter. There's other picks along those lines where you just outrange him and outbattle him. As Azir comes through for Faker, one of his statement or staple picks, I should say. He has a world skin for it, obviously, so it's kind of a big pick for him. Next up, I think we'll probably see ADC, Kaiser, Cassante may come through here. It wouldn't be too, it obviously isn't the most ideal matchup into Renekton, but I could honestly have saw the Cassante coming through. As my dogs are tearing at my door. Got all of it. Anyway, nah, as expected. I say as expected, even though I said a whole load of things, but that was the first pick I did say. Anyway, that gets locked in. The response from BLG, I think the Rel is actually a very good option here. because you can flex it support and jungle. And so we're not entirely sure if that is going to go to 1. I think this ban phase will probably see support bans out from BLG, so like sort of Rakan and Nautilus. If they want to ban out Leona, they may ban that out. But I think Rakan should be hitting the ban bench, regardless of the fact that Xayah's banned. Alistar, another one, going to be removed. T1 are the ones to remove the Rakan. I think they're trying to force the Rel into the bot lane, which is kind of awkward. Because T1 have already got the Jarvan. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. Caitlyn gets removed, so Gumayushi not going to be able to get his hands on that carry. There's still Kaiser up. Zari's up. I don't like the Caitlyn ban when there's them up. Aphelios is also up. There's quite a few powerful ADCs, so Caitlyn being banned doesn't scream too good for me unless you're weary of a Caitlyn Lux lane out from T1 and having constant pressure put against you. But T1 gonna bounce out the Sedge, so they're kind of covering their basis with the bans that T1 have given, because they've given 1 support, 1 jungle. Kind of, they don't know where the Rel's going, and that's kind of a big issue for them. As the Kaiser comes through for Elk, as expected. T1 though, this is where things get interesting, because they have a tendency of playing whatever they want. And this is looking like a Senna Tom Kench lane. More than anything, once the Senna gets locked in. 2 wins, no losses here at Worlds. And it's kind of surprising how low prio Senna has been, considering how effective she's been at the World Championship as a whole. Whenever TK is played, chances are Senna's paired alongside it, and Senna, I believe, will have a 100% win rate. That's my thought process. Anyway, BLG, lock in the Nidalee. I think with the fact that Renekton was already locked in, you could kind of sense the Nidalee was coming. But, hey, T1, more fearful of the Sedge. Obviously, it does a similar sort of thing with the stacking up from the Renekton Empowered W, I believe it is, where he gets 3 autos down on you. Yeah, it makes sense for them to ban the Sedge versus the Nidalee, because the carries that E1 have do not want to be locked up at all. Plus, with the fact that they're very long range, chances are, if the Sedge or Renekton has found their way onto you, you're pretty much dead. Because you're not able to get the distance needed to be safe. Because once they're on top of you, it's very hard to shake them off. But drafts are done. We're going to be getting into game very shortly as the LCK T1 take on the LPL's BLG. This should be a monumental matchup. One where T1 want revenge. And that's actually Fnatic Jarvan being repped by T1. Kind of a nice... that's a nice tribute to Fnatic, considering they could have wore the SSG one and kind of repped an LPL rep. Instead, it's just going to be the Fnatic, the EU flag, being worn by Owner. Now, taking a look at the starts, it's standard fan of 5, and I've got some news. I have been playing jungle recently, so I've been seeing the strength of Jarvan level 1. And he's very strong. His wave clear is actually really quick. And it allows you to get an early gank off if needs be. And this is looking very nice for BLG, getting an early wrap in. Gonna check for the ward for the invade, and they're not spotted. Jarvan's used his flag, so he's gonna have to give up prio here. Crashdown not going to land onto him. And now the Senna gets a free fire. So she's going to be claiming stacks quite easily. And not punished here. This is just beneficial for T1, as that's actually going to be engaged forward by Arm, but the flag is not going to result in a drag. And Cleanse, forced out of Elk, taken down early. The red buff goes over to Jun, but will he make it out? Will Shun escape this TK? Carrier going to land the tongue lash. 1 and a 2. Buckle my shoe. Hit him with the minions, and down goes Shun. And now on, he's walking into another challenger. As spoiler alert, this is not a support TK. This is a killing tank in the bot lane. And this is going to result in a nearly another kill over to T1. Never mind, the kills could come through here as Elk's locked up. Oh, that almost denied the back out from On. And T1 on the roll early. I want to take a look at the stacks picked up by Gumayusi already. He's up to 10. And that's off of that early level 1 play. And the minion, well, the 2 jungle camps, he's got some off them. And then just off that little trade there. Insanity, because you should not be at 10 stacks this early. 14 right now. Because bear in mind, your first upgrade's at 20 stalls. So, the fact that Gumayusi is this far ahead this early is a nice sort of place to be. Now, paired alongside this TK, who's just bought a ruby crystal and some refillables, this is going to be a very hard bot lane for BLG to play through. And on an Elk, a synonymous of being aggressive. The fact that they're now on the back foot against a very long range bot lane who now have extra mobility with the boots of Swifties picked up for Guma, you really are going to be struggling to do basically anything down there for BLG. And I think what we may see is an immediate aggressive path forward from Carrier. I think there's more souls picked up there for Guma. I love doing that as a support center. You just follow the camps. I think what we'll see is this. An aggressive abyssal voyage forward as the Nidalee Spear goes wide. Ignite is put down onto Gumayusi. It's forced to flash, but Jarvan is here for the re-engagers. TK gonna be the first to fall, in fact. But essentially, the thing about T1's bot lane is they have infinite scaling with the Senna. The only member in this game that has that sort of scaling. As the Spear gonna go wide. 2 spears missed now by Shun, but he does not need them. If he gets to jump out, then Spear misses once again. This Nidalee not working out as intended, as Gumayusi once again gets the fire out. The flank drive forward will not knock anyone to the air, but here comes Faker. He's only level 5, but the Spear finally lands onto someone. But right behind Faker was Yagao, who's now jumped on the Sand Soldiers, doing a decent chunk of damage. Nidalee not going to go aggressive and throw a spear over the wall, as flag was thrown to spot her out. As a whole, the early game, because top stayed in isolation, they stay ahead in terms of XP as here. I expected this. Reason being is because Gumayusi is above tempo. Similar sort of thing with Carrier. However, the fact that Shun showed up, it was unexpected for T1. And I don't know how that's unexpected. I mean, you think Nidalee wants to make early plays, wants to get into the action early and fight. Now, don't get me wrong. The fact that she hasn't pathed up to Bin to try and punish this Nah is a little surprising. Even though this top matchup is fairly even, if one visit comes through for the Nidalee, chances are Bin will start to snowball up there. But because that hasn't happened, we're actually just seeing this bot lane continue to get out of control. They're not really losing too much, other than, let's say, the one kill they've given over on the TK, which went to the Rel, which is not the most ideal of targets. Now, as a whole, I'd say T1 fairly favourable in this position. Even if the gold lead is marginal, as the Gnar's going to come out, Bin taking a massive chunk of damage, going to heal up with the Q, but he's just going to barely slither away into the jungle. And going to use the health bot to heal himself back up. Probably look for a reset here, as he's actually going to leash the Scuttle. Look like he's trying to get a bit of vision and security for himself. Actually, there's no Scuttle there. What did I see in that jungle? I don't know. Anyway, top side, it's going to be fairly even in terms of CS, though the trading will always favour Zeus until later on, as the spear going to land onto Carrier, who's forced to flash away from the Rel crashdown. Ignite has been dropped down onto one, and here comes Owner. He's not going to continue to chase. Actually, he is going to chase a Rel as his bot lane turn onto the minion wave. They gave up chase quicker than Owner did. Maybe a little overstep or misplay from SK. I was going to call him SKT, but it's T1. But yeah, as a whole, this bot lane matchup in isolation will be fairly one-sided. But with Shun coming down here, the fact that Gumayusi fairly low mana kind of signifies that BLG want to make a play down there. However, Owner's hovering. So any forced play out from BLG would have been responded with by the level 6 Jarvan, something the Nidalee is not at yet. And that's going to be a bit of an issue if BLG force there. And that's why we're seeing them back away. Why they're forced to respect this low health, well, this low mana Senna, as she's just able to stay and farm champions, basically. Top side, been getting a bit aggressive, but he knows that Owner's now on this top side as Shun could come in and contest this. He knows it's going on. 4,000 health on the Herald. Spear not going to land. And that should honestly dissuade the Nidalee from going aggressive here. No spear means no chance of getting in. And that should be an easy secure for Owner once Flying Drag comes through. Simple and clean execution onto the objective by T1. And Carrier dodging out on another spear. The Abyssal Voyage will not launch him into the air, but the Emperor's Divide will. Two-man getting hit by that, and the Cataclysm comes through from Owner. That's going to result in a kill onto one, as the Dawning Shadow picks up another. 2 kills over to Gumayusi. This Senna is starting to become a bit of an issue. 3 kills she's sitting on. Probably will be able to pick up her Umbral Glaive on her back, as Elk gonna avoid the W out from the Senna. As a Piercing Shadow, or Piercing Light, does its work topping up Faker's health bar. But this play, this is just T1 executing to a T. The W out from Gumayusi lands into a lovely Emperor's Divide. The re-engage comes through from on, but it's flashed out up by Faker. The heal was also burnt by Gumayusi. And now a fully abilityless Rel is easy to kill off. And then it's just a great snipe with the ultimate from Gumayusi to secure the second kill of that play. As a whole, you can see what that has done to the goal graph. It's 3 members of T1 sitting atop of it. And Zeus is surprisingly ahead of this Renekton in terms of the gold, but I think it's only a slight lead, as nothing else really differentiates the top laners. As Flash is burnt in the top side, the Gnar out forces a trade of flashes, but it's gonna be Zeus picking up the solo bolo in the end. That was clean. And honestly, I'm surprised Bin fell prey to that, as bot side, Rel and Nidalee forced to jump back over the wall. The Drake is up and available for whomever wants to secure it. Owner hovering, waiting in the wings for a possible play. As, once again, Gumayusi up to 40 stacks of his passive. He's going to be packing a bit more of a punch now, hitting that second breaking point. And now, I think what we're going to inevitably see is a bit of an issue as on force the Hex Flash backwards as Flash over the wall goes Carrier. He's looking for a play. Or was that Abyssal Voyage? What was that got him there? But anyway, that's going to be Elk tagged up, forced to cleanse to avoid the Dawning Shadow. And that is a big investment out from the BLG bot laner to stay alive. But the re-engage going to come through from On, possibly. Never mind, Shun just misses a spear, so nothing is here for BLG. Herald going to be dropped here, though, for T1. This tower looking mighty juicy. It's going to definitely lose a few turret plates here as Shun stepping forward. Not going to be able to do too much here as 2 plates are secured by T1. And that's just going to be the end of that one. I'm interested to see how Carrier got over the wall. Give me a second. I'm dropping frames, which is odd. Why is it not receiving enough? Is a real question. Okay, it's fine. Never mind. What? I just need to check. So we want to watch that Carrier play there, because it looked interesting. So how he got there. So it's here. Is it just the Abyssal Voyage? It is. And Alk just doesn't notice it until too late. He also invested the Killer Instinct there. That was a bit aggro. I think the Killer Instinct did keep him alive slightly, but to be honest, that seemed way too much out from him. He shouldn't have been there. He knew that TK and Senna were there because On was forced to Hex Flash backwards, being tagged up by the W. But anyway, back to live. That's going to be Bim popping the Dominus, scared of the tower dive that's not coming. I don't think he realizes the owner is not up here, and as such he's kind of forced to play it safe. That's a massive investment though from the BLG top laner. And I mean, this solo bolo, pretty clean out from Zeus, just playing the distance game correctly. He's building up his mega very nicely, and then Bin just uses everything, oversteps, and then just gets punished. Dinara into the wall, stuns him for days, bop, and then bop. It's a clean, easy kill for the top laner of T1. And back to live, the Drake finally secured by T1, whom are still continuing to stack up. Gumayusi, who's got his Umbral Glaive, going to be clearing out these wards pretty easily. And that turret plate graph at the top of your screen clearly tells you who is benefiting from the gold and these towers. It's T1 as 5 turret plates went over to them. And look at where the gold's sitting. Yes, it's a farming TK, not so you don't really care about it. But the fact that Gumayusi is up 300 gold over a farming Kaiser, it's a bit of an issue if you are BLG, who, let's be honest, have let this game get out of hand slightly. This Nidalee has not worked out for them at all, and we were saying you need to make early plays. She's been unable to, as I am having issues right now. Why? I'm going to pause because this is awkward. I'm confused. I'm just going to go to live. Okay, now it says excellent. Why am I dropping frames? It's awkward. So apologies. I'm just going to check something. I don't have Okay, I'm slightly confused why my PC is hating me right now. I'm going to close Discord and see if that does anything. If not, I'm actually going to close another thing before you move over. But yeah, it's weird, to be honest, how this is going. Opera GX is using a lot of it. Which is bizarre, because the only things I got open is this. And the music. Which doesn't need to be top quality. To be honest. I'll drop that down a little bit for you guys. Anyway. Hopefully that fixes some issues. Don't know how much it will do, but hey, it is what it is. Regardless, this game is getting pretty out of hand as Spot Lane Tier 1 going to be secured here by Faker, who we haven't even had to speak about. We've only seen basically two Empress Divides in his game so far. He's just been sat farming on side or mid without really doing much. He's already farmed up a lead against Shigao, and now it's resulted in him having a bit better. I mean, he's got the same farm, he's just got a slight gold advantage. I think he got pushed into tower and got a plate or two. But he's also been able to get the gold in the from the turret. So, as a whole, it's fairly beneficial for T1 with how they're playing this game. And it's controlled. Now, surprisingly, we're going to possibly see a fight here. But that still favors T1. It's a 3v4, however. 5v4 now, as Zeus has roamed down to join up with the rest of his team. Got half his Narbar, and the Herald's going to be just dissuaded from by BLG. They're denying T1 that objective. That's up for another 4 minutes, well, 3 and a bit, without any issue. But because you've... Okay, this is the weird bit, as topside Yagao clears out the wave. Similar thing for Faker in the mid. But here's the interesting thing. You back T1 off the objective initially, but you don't stop them. They've just gone straight back onto it once you've walked away. That's a dumb play, in my opinion. You either commit to the objective or fight and not give it up. But seems like a misplay to me. I get why you back up. It's because T1 have regrouped up into a 5-man and you're weaker in a 5-stack compared to them. But like, you still stay in the area if you're Nidalee and not just go back to farming. I get you're behind, but no, you're ahead in CS. What? Honestly, you could have stayed, tried to steal away that Herald, throwing spears in, doing chunk damage. I think this is just a huge misplay from BLG. Or more specifically, Jun. And it's unfortunate to be saying that, as he's been okay at this tournament. I've enjoyed his play so far. But here, he's giving over a massive advantage to T1. Because this Herald is stupidly beneficial in rolling through Drakes. Like, it makes it so easy to get the second one because you drop the Herald mid, you get the crash into this tier 2 because the tier 1's missing. They may just honestly drop it top if needs be. However, from the positioning, it possibly could be a bot play. The only time will tell is Ona stepping forward. on, and Shun forced to roll backwards towards their base. And T1 aren't actually going to invest a Herald. Surprising. Drake is now up. Started up by Ona. Keep your eyes on the Nidalee. This is looking like a contest. T1 and BLG forced to TP in. Zeus building up Narbar, sitting at half of its Rage-ometer. Faker looking for the slide and glide into Emperor's Divide. But BLG, they invest TP. They invest quite a bit there to do nothing. You could have at least kept Bin or Yagao pushing topside, because objective bounties are now up. This is just bleeding gold for the sake of bleeding gold out from BLG. You're not making plays, you're just standing and watching. This is dumb. And this is not how you win League of Legends. Oh, this is stupid. It's weird. I'm also really confused about Shun's build. The reason I say I'm confused, he's got Dark Seal, but he hasn't been making plays or doing anything to warrant having a Dark Seal. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good innate stats, but you should honestly sell it. A blasting wand would have more impact at this stage of the game than a Dark Seal, because you're never going to hit Medjai's. Dark Seal probably won't get past 2 stacks, because you're just on the back foot constantly as a Nidalee. On the back foot, Nidalee is stupidly horrible to play. It's not going to work out for you, because you're now losing out on your jungle control, because the Herald killed topside. It's going to get a crash into this tier 2. Simply put, you're bleeding gold for the sake of bleeding gold. I've already said that phrase, but this game's over. There's no proactivity out from BLG. It's just boring, standing around doing nothing. And this is not the BLG we wanted to see coming into this series. We wanted to see the one that took T1 the distance, that beat them at MSI. This is just a team that's looking dead. It's unfortunate to say that, but the fact is it's actually going to be the Narcor out, the kill goes over, Elk gets a shutdown. That's a good play for them. Bit of a misstep, more though than anything from Zeus. Way too far forward without his team in enemy territory. But that's kind of playing without any care in the world. As Shun could be caught out here, going to be tagged by just the tongue lash and a Q from the center. It's dirty damage coming out from the bot lane of T1 as continuous trading into on, forcing a play as the Q comes through from the Rel. Good buffer though from the Jarvan to avoid being stuck where he was. As a whole, T1 just clearing this topside jungle, not giving any control over, as that's going to force the flash out from Ona. Played there from on. This is the aggression you need to see from BLG. Force mistakes out from T1. You can't sit losing, because that's what you're doing. Giving precious time over to T1 is not a good thing. As here, Zeus just steps way too far. Great crash down from on to secure the lockup. Not allowed the flash out from the Gnar. That's a great play from BLG to catch out Zeus. Simple as that. Now the issue that I'm noticing here is BLG are stagnating. And stagnating is not good into a Senna. The fact that she is just free farming up, like 50 CS is decent. Don't get me wrong, you're not really wanting to farm with a support item, but she'll eventually start farming once this TK reaches full build. Not much more needs to be said than that. Is Elk not gonna step too far forward as Mountain Drake #1 is on the rift. Soul Point if T1 secure it. Elk, oh, Shun overstepping, jumps over the wall, and he's immediately being chased down by Zeus. Meganar could come forward, but it's not gonna happen. That is a misplay and a half by Nidalee. Don't get me wrong, I want them to contest, but you can't do it alone in that situation. All of T1 were there, and you just jumped headfirst into probably the worst target, the one that will run you down in the Gnar. On, going aggressive, the crashdown comes forward, but he is going to get tagged up. The W lands. Gao also forced to be rooted. T1 getting aggressive, trying to control this top half of the map. Baron is on the board as Zeus going to be forced into a bit of a situation. The killer instinct comes through. Elk's not able to pick the kill, and in fact, he just backs away as the Dominus will wear off in a couple of seconds. BLG over-investing into the bot side of the map, but there could be a possible play here as the flank TP going to come through, but that's a Cataclysm onto 2. The Dawning Shadow finds its mark, but no kills are going to come through just yet. TP out from T1. They're looking to re-engage. Watch Faker. He has the Emperor's Divide ready to slide and glide, but in the bottom side, Zeus is just farming his way. He's killing the turrets. T1 just happy to keep them busy as the Magnet Storm crash down. Finds 2, but it is not enough. T1 are too far ahead, and that's going to be a killing spree over to Gumayushi. And T1, they find 4, and they turn straight to the Baron. It's not even 4, it's 3. I can't count. Teehee. It's got to be 4 in a second. There we go. It's been... He's just going to be tagged up, knocked into the air. That's the double for the TK, finding its mark. Big fight out from T1. It's all that needed to happen. This was crazy, because this was actually a 4v5. The Cataclysm comes through, and the Dawning Shadow just chunks out your Gao and Shun. Then this engage from On is kind of desperate. Bin's already low, and BLG are just getting chipped away at. And I think it's forced play that has come through as a great disengaging ult from Faker. Pushes back Elk and the Ori from stepping too far forward. And it also kills them. It's just great play overall from T1, who were buying time for Gnar to do work in the bot lane. He gets everything he wants. And because BLG were kind of just forced into a misplay. Honestly, it didn't look like they really needed to pull the trigger there. Because they just overstepped. And felt like they needed to make a play. But they were down a member in the fight. They were already chipped out low. And Zeus getting jumped on. He's gonna go mega. The Gnar pushes the Nidalee into the death. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Elk picks up 1, but Faker, he's killed off your Gao. Out of nowhere, the Azir finds a kill. Killer Instinct is a possibility here for Elk, who's looking to go aggressive. Never mind, Bin just getting ran down by this Gnar. That's going to be the Killer Instinct finally used, but Elk dying on the fountain. the gobble up forward into the Emperor's Divide. What did I just witness? As that's going to be a game 1 over T1. Clean, easy League of Legends. That did not look difficult. They were given the win on a silver platter from level 1. Once Gumayushi got them early souls, he was just unkillable. And there was no contest there. Basically, BLG had to give up the GOAT. And game 1 was done in a heartbeat. Let's get into game 2. We're not taking breaks today. We're doing 2 games. And then that will be that. Draft-wise, I'm hoping we get something interesting here. As here we go. BLG go over to blue side for this one. Renata removed, Maokai removed, Azir removed. I think Ori will maybe removed here. Xayah also could be removed, but it's actually going to be a change up to the Rakan. Oh my god. This should probably force a Xayah ban from BLG, I think. Unless they want to... Yeah, they should ban out the Xayah, first pick Ori, or do they ban the Jarvan? Either way, there's going to be a power pick left up and available for T1 regardless. Nico going to be removed. That leaves Ori Jarvan to T1 if that goes through. Xayah up. They're going to get 2 power picks regardless. Red side OP. Simple as that. T1, I think, have figured out draft, baby. 2 power picks for the price of 1. Yes, please. But BLG going to preface the Xayah. Now, what needs to be said here is Jarvan plus Ori is still a deadly combo. Renekton still up and available for BLG if they want to go that route. Though after the last game, I don't think they will. Jack's up and available. There's quite a few good picks left. Rel, I think, will be okay to continue to flex it, though considering how it was flexed last game to turn into a Nidalee, didn't work out for BLG. Syndra, though, going to be the lock-in for Yagao. Kind of an issue, I think, into this Orianna, personally. I think you're very susceptible to being jumped on by this Jarvan. And there is Bin's Jax going to come through here in game number 2. Left open this time, was banned out in game 1. Finally gets picked up here in game 2. Now, the response from T1 here is probably going to be their ADC. I think Kaiser would work, honestly, quite well here. But it's up to T1. How do they want to attack it? It's a Gragas. Gragas possibly into Jax in the top lane. That's still a flex, because that could also go support. Wait, Jarvan's in the jungle. Now, I think Kalista may get banned here by BLG. I think Kaiser could get banned here. That Gragas is actually thrown a spanner in the works, to say the least. Because Carrier is a player that probably could play that support. Carrier, known for being just a mad lad locking whatever he wants down there. And here, I think it may work, honestly. You've got a lot of disruption. So, it's a weird one with T1's comp, because you kind of want to group people up with the Cataclysm, but then Gragas will pushes people away and splits them. So, it's a bit of anti-synergy coming out from the T1 draft so far. As BLG removing the Caitlyn and the Kaiser just slammed the Kalista here. Kalista or Ashe? Jinx, okay. Kalista not going to be locked in. I thought that would come through, honestly. And pair it up with the Gragas. Gragas support. But Alistar left up and available. That was banned out last time in Phase 2. That was the first ban from BLG in Phase 2. I think... See, I'm interested how T1 round out this draft, because it's either their top or support to be locked in. And I'm pretty sure it'll be support. Lee Sin and Alistar. I'm not entirely happy about Lee Sin. I think Vi, yeah, will make a bit more sense to get on top of the Jinx, lock her up before she gets too excited. That does make a bit more sense, and that's the Tom Kench. No, TK. I'm still so unsure by the T1 draft, because TK can technically be a flex to the top side. It's very unlikely, but no, it makes sense for it to be support, because Jinx obviously, when she doesn't have kills, is quite low mobility. She's very susceptible to being jumped on. And with there being a Vi who will jump on her, the Scatter of the Week also, the Alistar, all wanting to jump onto Gumyushi and or Faker, having Carrier on this TK actually is a very good pick, to say the least. And let's be honest, the draft so far, very explosive, I think, from either side. You've got a lot of burst potential out from T1. With that being a Gragas in the top lane, you're thinking it's probably full AP in terms of the build. As, I mean, don't get me wrong, mid, you've got tons of AP for Faker. But you're kind of thinking maybe Faker goes the more supporty build, like a Crown, to kind of negate some of the hard engage that is on BLG's side. And then you're not obviously getting the maximum amount of AP and burst. So the Gragas builds the more burst heavy build, maybe with an Everfrost, into Rabadons or tons of AP. It'll probably be Archangel's staff, actually, second. Or we get the standardized Frozen Mallet build that we've been seeing from them over the recent sea of mythic items. Anyway, we are looking at the ruins. Nothing extraordinary. Comet topside for the Gragas is probably the most interesting thing, because we don't tend to see Gragas anymore. And I need to move my head to just talk about items. There we go. Cool start for Desire. An Elk classic. Probably the guy that I saw the cool start on that initiated that sort of play at MSI. Because it wasn't before MSI I was checking for calls, and after MSI I certainly started looking at him, and Elk was the initiator of the cool plays for me. Regardless of that, let's take a look at this bot side matchup and how it's gonna go. So level 1, it's gonna favor Carrier and Guma with how effective they are at just getting trade damage down. Don't get me wrong, Carrier is taking chunks of damage here because he got jumped on by the Alistar, who basically just stood still and queued the TK as he stepped forward. But like, the Tongue Lash with the healing, the innate sustain that provides, with obviously the damage and slow, it makes it very easy for T1 to secure the push early at level 1. And the rockets from the Jinx also makes it easy to kill multiple minions in one go. The build, the ramping up attack speed, the minigun also gives. It's kind of nice. Now you have to deal with the zaps from the Jinx, who will continue to harass you down in a similar sort of fashion to TK will. Now level 2 TK gets the Abyssal Dive, so if you overstep you obviously will be jumped on, or what's the word? Dove on. Yeah, that's kind of how that matchup will go. Top side, Grasp, Jax. Just going to continue to build up stacks against this Gragas. Both Gondoran's items. One's more bulkier as Scatter weak lands in the mid lane. Faker just going to use the command protect. Keep himself alive. Ooh, I like this from Shun. Bit of early jungle invading. Faker in a bit of trouble here. Is that flash Q from Shun gonna come through? You have to feel. Never mind, he doesn't need to flash the initial engage. And First Blood goes over as Jarvan goes aggressive. Trading into Yagao and Shun. Still here, the Q misses from this Vi. But Owner forced to flash out. That's a worthwhile play for BLG. They get First Blood onto Yagao Syndra. And that is the main burst damage for BLG. Your only AP carry. Getting them ahead early is very, very good. Especially considering game 1, Yagao kind of felt on the back foot from early. He was very quiet on the Ori on his side of things. Only really landing one shockwave that didn't have that much impact in the game. This game gonna be playing with an advantage. Lost chapter already. Took his back. TP back in because to manage Faker's TP overall, this play here, Shun could have honestly came over the wall and made it super surprise and flash, and that would probably guaranteed the lockup, but he gets lucky. He ramps through the side and gets the easy Q once that scattered weak landed. Top side, trading. Counter Strike procced. Bin gonna get the easy kill. That was a misplay there from Zeus, who tried to body slam this Jax, but just missed the combo as the scatter weak misses, but the Q from the Vi does not. The unleashed power does work, and Faker doomed to fall. Mid lane brawl going in Yagao's favor this time, and he hasn't been punished because Owner, he's just been farming up a storm, level 5 to level 5 of Jun, but 4 CS up. It's not the biggest lead, but it's enough to kind of get him to the Cataclysm quicker. He needs that ultimate if he is to contest or make plays. You have to feel the fact that you probably will need that to go for a lockdown play onto the Syndra is kind of the biggest benefactor for him to stay farming. Now while he is doing that, he has to give up the jungle. He has to give up the Drake to Jin, who is just a bit of a warpath this early game. 2 quick plays. Something he should have done game 1 on the Nidalee. Don't get me wrong, but here it's worked out for him. Finding the kills. Top side going in your favor as well. Without any investment. That is a nice thing for BLG here in game number 2. So where do they throw it? As jumping forward, that's going to be a great cask out from Zeus to dissuade Bin's aggression. The leap strike though is available, and he jumps forward, popping the Grandmaster's Might, and he just bops him down with the lamppost. Another solo bolo over to Bin. This Jax is getting out of control. As we watch this play again, this is just a misplay. Body slam too early, as the counter strike just stuns you before you get anywhere near. And then mid lane, the Q into unleash power just does chunks. Faker got a nice bit of gold back from the first strike, but that's about it. As here, Grandmaster's Might once the cask is down and then a leap strike, you're getting the kill. No real issue there for BLG. And Bin didn't even invest his flash. So, taking a look at everything and how it's going on, it is looking like a Everfrost for Zeus. Gonna get the extra stun, extra lockup for his Gragas to allow for more burst. Has been just starting up the Herald on his own. Shun gonna finally join up with him. And the fact that BLG's rotations are actually this quick, this is worrisome for Elk if he stays around. The dive is being set up by T1. They've also got the ultimate from TK to stop this as the Cataclysm comes through. The Featherstorm not going to be too good as he can't get out of the Cataclysm anymore when you're in that bird form. That overall is a worthwhile ult for ult trade because that does make Elk susceptible to a actual gank play. And it's not like he's running Cleanse, he's running Ghost. So this Xayah really is not fearing for her life. She's going into a lot of CC, potentially. I mean, let's think about the CC that you can cleanse on the T1 side. Body Slam. You can cleanse the Tongue Lash. The 3-stack Tongue Lash. And you can do it on the Flame Chompers, I believe. The rest of the abilities aren't cleansable, I don't think. Like, it's knock up from Flag and Drag. Shockwave is a pull. Yeah, it's not really cleansable as mid lane. Herald's dropped here. Probably will get a couple of plates overall. Yagao going to be continue to be invested in by BLG. 2-0-0. Up 3 CS, which is minimalistic, but turret plating certainly in his favour. Faker hasn't had a chance to touch that tower just yet. As topside, Zeus forcing a freeze, but Bin just jumps straight forward into this Gragas, and no care in the world anymore. Once he gets Merc Treads and Sheen, he's probably going to be... He's just able to kill through the health bars. Bot side, Zeus, well, Owner just trying to make a play for his bot lane. Gumayusi needs to get online. He's kind of falling prey to the Elk Cull build. He's just losing out in innate gold. And, well, sure, Jinx is ahead in terms of CS by quite a bit. What has happened to Elk CS? It's just in the gutter, and there hasn't really been any investment from jungle. Like, Owner's been kind of out of it. He's left it alone. But I get... Unless it's because Elk and On have been playing very safe when you have Shun making plays in the mid lane for Yagao. That's the only, like, thought process I have on it. As topside, TP gonna be invested here by Yagao. This Drake becoming a big objective. BLG want it, and they're actually not gonna be able to get it as the kill goes over. Shun dies, and this is T1 turning on the fight. The Flag and Drag lands onto the Syndra, but Yagao kills off the Jarvan, but it results in his own demise. A killing spree gets shut down as T1 find the fight and the Drake. This is them coming online. 2 kills now over to Gumayusi. This Jinx starting to become a menace. Already up incredibly high amounts of CS. And now probably going to get a couple of plates if she stayed. In the end, we're probably going to see some completed items here. As let's watch this play again. And my eyes are on Shun and Owner. Owner secures the objective, Cataclysm's down, and gets the kill and the Drake. Then Unleash Power does its work, kills off the Jarvan in return. But Jinx is just free firing. That was such a hard fight for Elk because he's way far behind on items. Finally, we see completed items in the bot lane as both of them pick up their Kraken Slayers for this next coming fight, probably for Herald. But only time will tell as Carrier positioning in mid lane on, getting chunked out by the Orianna, forced to pulverize, but the flash shockwave pulls him into the flying and drag execution. And Faker gets on the board with his first kill. And what do you know? He has gone crown. It makes sense to say the least, considering you've got a Gragas on your comp you can build Everfrost with to get a bit more burst. This is overall a very close game. The gold sits in favor of BLG, and that's probably solely coming from turret plates. Yeah, 3 plates to 2. The gold slightly advantageous to BLG, as that's going to be a catch out onto Carrier. Locked up cease and desist allows Yagao to get the kill, and the bench is where the Kench ends up, as topside the Syndra gets rooted by the Everfrost. Not going to be able to dive Zeus just yet, as Shun going to be denied the steal of the camp, you have to feel, as Gragas does work with the barrel. 40 minutes on the clock. Herald is up, and the team's coming up to the mid lane for a possible play, as that Scatter of the Week from Yagao misses Carrier, which means the turnaround for T1 comes through. It's just an investment of the shockwave into the flag and drag, and Abyssal dive to secure that kill is here. Scatter of the Week finds its mark, and down goes the TK. Now 5 members of T1 showing in this top half of the map, gonna secure themselves this Herald. Bot side though, it has left Bin isolated in order to make his mark known on this tower, just bonking away with it, that lamppost onto it. As mid lane, gonna be the focus of the attention for T1. Mid lane tower, stupidly impactful as the Scatter Week lands onto 2. The Unleashed Power will not kill off Carrier. That is an ultimate burnt there, but it's a massive chunk of the Kench's health bar. He's forced to back away, and so are T1. And that does end up meaning the spot lane tier 1 will fall as the TP comes through. That's been showing up on the map. The response 1 comes through from Dona. From Zeus, I should say. I get them mixed up all the time. But it's a response play out from T1. And so it's just a trade of TPs. No kills. And BLG, they'll take that. Now it's a zero escape tool Gragas up on this top side. You've got a body slam and a flash, and that's it. You could honestly invest a cease and desist into it, lock it down. That's kind of my thought process here. As Guma, why are we keeping our eyes on you? Okay, it was looking scary, like there was going to be a random Vi flying over the wall into a Scatter of the Week, just out of nowhere. But considering the fact the map shows the Syndra in the bot lane, I don't think that would happen. Now, Cloud Drake number 1 is on the Rift. Cloud Soul, not the most ideal of souls for either team. I think that benefits T1 slightly more. Purely because TK gets extra movement speed carrying someone, as that's the cast coming through. Bin forced into a difficult situation. And mid lane, no wave top means mid lane gets crashed into. Bin didn't need to actually drop Herald, I don't think, there for that tower. Honestly, he could have saved it for this one to get a guaranteed charge, but it doesn't really matter, as the tower gets hit by the full wrath of the Herald's head. And that's going to be a bit more tower damage done in the mid lane. Now, it's going to be BLG grouping up on getting hit by the tongue of the TK. And possibly caught out here as the shockwave lands. Faker just doing chunks of damage to the Alistar. Jarvan not going to flag and drag to follow it up though. And as such, BLG are actually just sent on the run Elk cataclysmed on top of. You have to feel the Feather Storm has to come through. Finally it does. Flashing out, but the flag secures the kill. And hi, Tom Kent is here to eat his teammate up. Easy execution onto Elk's Xayah. Just gets deleted on the Rift as topside. Bin could have been caught out there. Plays respectful, backs away from T1. That is just an easy play for the LCK second seed. As they just... zero respect, I think, there from Elk. He just gets caught out here. The Flash Cataclysm. He should have honestly have used his ability early. Featherstorm should have came out as soon as he needed to. Instead, he just gets absolutely crushed. And he wastes his flash and his ghost for no reason. Because he was always going to die from the way he played that. He tried to max damage while minimizing downtime in terms of damage. It doesn't work like that. You need to maximize safety in that situation. Featherstorm early. You can reposition with the extra large health bar. The Flag and Drag wouldn't have been too big of an option. It probably would have come off cooldown. You could have honestly have outplayed the Jarvan instead of falling prey to the flag being dropped on your head and killing you. Simple as that. But BLG, they're okay. They're not behind in gold right now as on. Just getting ran down. This Jinx Rocket doing work. 2 items picked up for Gumayusi. That Infinity Edge will find a lot of work as a flank is in play as a 2-man scattered weak lands. The cease and desist comes straight through onto Faker, but the peel 3-man turnaround from T1. They've got the Cataclysm onto Elk once again, and that's the Rocket securing a kill. Jinx is excited as the double kill comes through. Yagao next to fall, you have to feel if he stayed around, but T1 they're looking to go forward. The tower falls. They've got free reign to go forward. The Drake up in a minute. They're probably going to turn towards that. Baron could have been a bit greedy if they wanted to. Faker, though, he's hovering mid still. He's dissuading BLG's advancement. And we watch this play again. Simply put, keep your eyes on the flank. It's Jun going straight onto Faker, but the 3-man turn is just huge. All of them jump onto him. Then Elk, he thinks he's safe to step up, but he's putting the Cataclysm. The Rocket from Gumayusi finds him and kills him off. Now it's just clean. Great use of the ultimate there from TK to keep his Gragas alive. And that was overall a very well executed fight from T1. Look at the damage the Jinx did as well. The Infinity Edge doing work in that fight. The extra crit damage that item provides is just insane. And Jinx being a massive crit champion, you know she's going to enjoy that as mid. Topside scatter weak clans. Going to be ticking down here is Faker to the Leandries. But not going to result in any kill. Just a bit of aggression. This top lane tier 1 probably will fall due to the fact Faker is being pushed so far off the wave. Yagao clearly going to get this. And what do you know? T1 not going to overinvest in topside, he says, as a 3-man death squad comes up as the Drake is already alive. I'm surprised that T1 didn't just focus the Drake here. They could have honestly have secured that objective and kept their soul alive, soul point up and available. BLG clearly don't want to contest it. The fact that they tried to make a play on the other side of Rift. And with Jun still hovering up here, this should be a free and easy Drake 2T1. In fact, they're just going to send Gumayusi to secure it. There you go. Soul point secured for T1. Cloud Soul obviously not as impactful as the rest of the dragon buffs, but it's still a soul that gives you permanent power. It's not a Baron buff in terms of massive stats boosts or innate pushing power. It is permanent stats like movement speed for the Cloud Soul, as well as cooldown reduction, which I think is going to be very impactful for this Jarvan. The fact that you build Spirosojin second to get insanely low CDR, the Cloud Soul makes that even more impactful. So your abilities will be on such short cooldowns that you're able to just execute down people with an insane amount of bulk, as well as an insanely strong attack combo. As here, Abyssal Dive comes through, the Scatter Weak lands nicely onto Faker. And now BLG grouping up, clumping up around this Baron, trying to force T1 into these chokes where they can burst them down a little bit more, but T1 not falling prey to this aggression. They're just stepping forward themselves. Ona gonna just keep the Ori Ball on top of him. That provides enough safety, as BLG don't want to fall prey to the shockwave from Faker, as that Cataclysm will probably lock you down and get you bursted out. Simple as that. T1 playing the aggressive league where they look for picks while also keeping Yori in a good position. The Scatter Weak in mid lane lands onto Gumayusi, who's gobbled up by TK, avoids the mass amount of burst that Unleash Power would have done. Probably would have resulted in the death of the T1 bot laner, as Faker lands a shockwave onto one. The headbutt pulverize combo misses. That's just a shockwave for the summoners of the Alistar, as well as the Featherstorm. Now Xayah forced back. You have to feel no safety, no ability to escape other than the flash. T1 should look to press the advantage here, as that Elk should be playing a lot safer than he is. I want to keep my eye on Ona, who's looking for the potential dive. You have to feel he's going to take it back, however, as his Spear of Sojin finally picked up. The CDR reduction going to be in his back pocket. The bot lane of BLG need to be wary. They need to use the Alistar disengage effectively. Ona, he's happy at this stage of the game. And while sure, the KDA in the mid lane reflects in a huge advantage for the Syndra, which we've already talked about, as the Scatter Weak lands onto Ona, but on oversteps, caught out as the Abyssal Dive finds his man. It's a shutdown of the Sentry as Yagao falls and Faker gets the kill. We were talking about the kill advantage. Who cares? He is dead. And so is this Baron, as T1 turn to the objective. Possibly could look for more of a play as the Vi goes aggressive. That's going to be a massive Q and cast combo out from this Gragas. It's going to be a continued chase down as a massive feather pullback comes through. Faker jumped on by the Vi, but Gumayusi is here and he's free firing. Gonna pick up a kill onto Vi. Forced to back. And now is BLG, as the Baron was secured in the end by T1. This game, it's just insanity when these two teams fight. And this here looked good, but then you realize it's a 3v1. Alistar is isolated. Syndra then realizes, oh no, I've stepped too far, and just gets jumped on. Easy as can be. Here, Shun just goes way too deep. Gets hit by the tower and jumped on. Elg now is isolated. And T1 just isolate fight after fight. And force BLG into awkward situations here. And this is just great play overall from T1. They play with their man advantage stupidly well. And BLG just aren't able to respond to it. Now, Drake is up. Soul is available to T1. They're in a great position to secure this, as Faker going to be jumped up, knocked up, and scattered down. As on the flank is the Jax, but look at what's happened. The Cataclysm trapped Shun in that pit, forced to stopwatch after the shockwave comes through. As on the top side, the flying drag comes through. Yagao jumped on. Aguma Yushi is godlike. He finds 2 members of BLG, and he's looking for more. The Featherstorm is forced out, and he is not gonna get away. As a triple kill, no quadra or penta for T1. As Aguma Yushi, he finds all the kills he needs to get the soul for T1. And this is almost certainly the game here. And Baron being used effectively now. They didn't really care about this soul. No one does. 25 minutes on the clock. Cloud Soul secured. And that's going to give that extra movement speed to allow T1 to get these rotates through quicker. As I thought On may have gone over the wall. Not going to happen. As topside, Zeus has his Banshees. He sees Bin. Not going to end in a kill as here. On just goes way too aggressive. Once again, the Cataclysm forces Yagao's flash. Then it's Bin isolated in 2 members, forced to jump away. Then watch this. Over the wall goes Vi, but the flying drag into 2 isolated carries. There's no protection for the ADC in the mid laner of BLG. As such, it ends in their demise. As here, Everfrost onto Bin. He's caught out as the bottom half of the fight. Somehow, Gumayushi finds Elk as Bin locked up, shut down. Into the base he goes once again. As BLG, they're falling to pieces. T1 just picking them apart, dissecting them at their core. And they're pushing for the win here are the Korean representatives. The inhibitor tower in the top lane will fall, and so will the inhibitor. The Nexus turrets are in their sights. BLG need one last defense, but they're pushed back onto the fountain. They're not going to be able to get in. That's going to be a headbutt onto Baker, but he is not dying. He's still alive. He's trading back, and T1 just end the game just like that. Gumayushi got fed, did he? That's a simple way to describe that one. BLG were isolated in fights, unable to play the game the way they wanted to. Elk looked poor. That's a simple way to word it. He got out CS'd both games, and he built items where he wants to CS. The fact that he got out CS so heavily in a matchup that should have been even on paper really isn't good. And we had issues with T1. T1 didn't look good in their opening games. They got stretched by TL in the early game and pushed to the edge where they actually finally beat them. But it was shaky in the first games. Here, this was clean League of Legends. Uncontested. In a matchup that we saw just pure chaos at MSI. It was back and forth in that series. But what ended up happening was T1 here, they just showed up and took the game to BLG. And with how well they played, you gotta feel it's high hopes for T1 as kind of dark horses for the inevitable grand finals. Now, obviously, we've still got games. Tomorrow probably won't be any coverage from the Swiss stage. Tomorrow I need to prepare for knockouts, baby, because I really don't want to watch G2 fumble the bag twice, once to NRG and to BLG. And considering we've just broke BLG down, I don't really want to look at them again. especially with how god-awful G2 were. Anyway, I'm gonna go full screen and say a couple of things. You will be getting several videos this week for Pokemon. I've got a load of card openings coming up onto the channel. Tomorrow, Halloween. I was tempted to do a live stream, but can't necessarily do that. My costume's at work, so I can't really wear it. But I'm going as Mojo Man Randy Savage because I'm a bit of a nerd for wrestling. I'm a bit of a nerd. I hate myself. Trust me, I really do hate myself. But yeah, Thursday we've got one best of 5, I think. I think we're into the best of 5s finally. Indeed we are. So Thursday you will be getting a stream. 5, possibly 4 games all in a row. I really don't want to do 4 games. I may end up doing how I usually do, best of 5s. 3 games, 2 GOLs, or 2 games, 3 GOLs. Depending on how well we split it. I of course also need to the issue is the game is happening live while I'm at work. Saturday, Sunday actually have some fun games. These are some good series. But yeah, I'm going to be doing predictions for all of these on Wednesday. That'll be going live like usual. I've got obviously predictions to make. I'm still undecided on a lot of these. I think you got some good series there. In general, if we're talking about it, there's some quite obvious results. And then there's some quite not so obvious results where you would think something would happen when in actuality it probably will be the opposite. Regardless, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a video that not too happy about, but it's Halloween related. And the reason I'm not happy about it is because of how it's done. Like, okay, I'm gonna spoil it. I opened up some of the Halloween booster packs, trick or trade packs. It turns out the complete set is very easy to get. I didn't realize that. You got every single card 5 times in the booster set. So I just opened them for the sake of opening them, thinking, I wonder if I'll get every single one. Like, thinking it's a normal set of cards. It's not. But we do. I try to have fun. I think it's slightly enjoyable. But it's been recorded for God knows how long. And it's just been sat waiting for tomorrow. Regardless of that, I guess it's time to end the video. The stream. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like down below if you want to. I'm not going to do my full monotonous outro. But I'll see you guys, I guess technically tomorrow, but I'll see you guys properly on Wednesday with the prediction video. As a drop a coin. See you guys then. Peace out. Whew.